In this video, we're going to break down 10 everyday habits that can slowly weaken your dog's trust. Not overnight, not dramatically, but quietly, consistently, over time. Some of these might feel uncomfortable to hear because they don't come from bad intentions, they come from normal behavior, human behavior. But your dog doesn't see the world the way you do. 1. Yelling at them. That tail wag your dog gives you when you walk through the door, it feels like everything is okay, doesn't it? Like no matter what happened earlier, no matter how stressed you were, how impatient you got, or how loud your voice became, they've already moved on. It almost feels like unconditional forgiveness. But here's something most people never really think about. Dogs don't experience the world the way we do. They don't sit around replaying moments in their head. They don't hold grudges or keep score. But that doesn't mean they forget. What dogs actually remember is how you make them feel. Not just in big moments, but in the small, everyday interactions. The tone in your voice, the way you react, the energy you bring into the room. And over time, those moments start to build patterns. Patterns of safety or patterns of uncertainty. Patterns of trust or quiet hesitation. The hard part is, these changes don't happen all at once. They happen slowly. So slowly, in fact, that most people don't notice anything is wrong until something in the relationship already feels different. Until the eye contact isn't quite the same. The excitement feels a little softer. The connection feels just slightly more distant. And by then, it's not about one moment anymore. It's about everything that led up to it. 2. Ignoring them on walks. To you, a walk might feel simple, just something you do to make sure your dog gets enough exercise for the day. You grab the leash, you follow the same route, you check it off your routine. But to your dog, this moment is everything. This is the part of the day they look forward to the most. It's not just about movement. It's not just about burning energy. It's about exploration. Every step outside is filled with information. A scent on the sidewalk, a patch of grass, a trail left by another dog hours ago. To you, it's nothing. To them, it's a story. And in the middle of all that, there's one thing that matters even more. You. Because a walk isn't just about the environment, it's about shared experience. Your dog isn't just walking next to you, they're walking with you. They check in, they look back, they match your pace, they wait for you to notice what they found. But when your attention is somewhere else, something begins to change. You're looking at your phone, scrolling, replying, distracted. Physically, you're there, but mentally, you're gone. And your dog can feel that. At first, they keep trying. They glance back. They slow down. They look for connection. But when it doesn't come, they stop. Over time, those small moments disappear. The walk becomes quieter, less interactive, less meaningful. Not because your dog stopped caring, but because the experience stopped being shared. And what used to be connection slowly becomes routine. 3. Taking their things away. Your dog is lying on the floor, completely focused on something they love. Maybe it's a chew toy. Maybe it's something they found and claimed as their own. They're calm, relaxed, engaged in the moment, and then suddenly, you reach down and take it. No warning, no exchange, no signal that it's about to happen. From your perspective, it feels harmless. You just want their attention, or maybe you don't want them chewing that object. But from your dog's perspective, something important just happened. Something they had was taken away without control. And that's where the shift begins. At first, they might not react. They might just look at you, confused, trying to understand. But dogs learn through patterns, and when this happens more than once, they start to anticipate it. They begin holding on to things tighter, watching your hands more carefully, moving away slightly when you get close. Not because they're being difficult, but because they're adapting. This is how something called resource guarding starts. Not from aggression, but from uncertainty. Because in your dog's mind, they've learned something simple. What I have can disappear at any moment. And when that feeling settles in, relaxation turns into tension. Trust turns into caution. And the next time you reach down, it's no longer just your hand. It's a moment they're unsure about. 4. Changing the rules. One day, it's allowed. The next day, it's not. Your dog jumps on the couch, and you laugh. It's cute. It's harmless. You don't mind. Maybe you even encourage it. But then another day, you're tired, you're busy, you're not in the mood, and they do the exact same thing. This time, you correct them. Your tone changes, your energy shifts, and suddenly, something that felt okay before is no longer okay. To you, this makes sense, because you understand context, you understand mood, you understand that situations change, but your dog doesn't. Dogs don't think in exceptions, they think in patterns. So when something is allowed once, they store that information. This is okay. And when that same behavior gets corrected later, it doesn't feel like guidance, it feels unpredictable. Now your dog is stuck in a loop, trying to figure out what's right, but never quite sure. So instead of acting with confidence, they begin to hesitate. They pause before doing something. They look at you for reassurance. They second-guess themselves, not because they're disobedient, but because the rules no longer feel clear. And when clarity disappears, so does confidence. 5. Hugging them. You hug your dog because it feels natural. Because in your world, that's what love looks like. You pull them close, wrap your arms around them, maybe rest your head against theirs. And for a moment, it feels like pure connection. But here's the part most people don't realize. Dogs don't experience affection the same way we do. They don't hug each other. In fact, in the canine world, that kind of physical restraint can sometimes mean the opposite of comfort. It can feel limiting, restricting, even slightly threatening. Now, not every dog reacts the same way. Some learn to tolerate it. A few may even seem to enjoy the closeness. But many dogs communicate something much more subtle, and it's easy to miss. Their body stiffens. They turn their head away. Their eyes shift, avoiding direct contact. Sometimes they lick their lips. Sometimes they yawn. These aren't random behaviors. They're signals, small, quiet signals that say, I'm not completely comfortable right now. But most people don't notice because they're focused on what they feel, not what the dog is trying to say. And when those signals are ignored again and again, something begins to change. Your dog learns that their discomfort doesn't affect what happens next, that their way of communicating doesn't get a response. And over time, that can slowly weaken trust. Because real connection isn't just about giving affection. It's about understanding how the other side receives it. 6. Punishing too late. You walk into your home, and something is wrong. The trash is knocked over. Something is chewed up. Something clearly happened. And without thinking, you react. You call your dog over. Your voice is firm. Your energy shifts. And your dog responds instantly. They lower their head. They avoid eye contact. They look guilty. At least, that's what it looks like. But here's what's really happening. Your dog doesn't understand why you're upset, because in their mind, that moment has already passed. Dogs don't replay events the way humans do. They don't connect actions to consequences once time has moved on. To them, everything is happening right now. So when you react late, they're not thinking, this is because of what I did earlier. They're thinking, something is wrong with my human. That guilty look you see, It's not guilt. It's a response to your tone, your body language, your tension. They're trying to calm the situation, trying to make things feel safe again. But there's no learning happening in that moment, only confusion. And over time, that confusion turns into something deeper, uncertainty. Because from your dog's perspective, your reactions start to feel unpredictable. And unpredictability is one of the fastest ways to weaken trust. Because when your dog doesn't understand why something is happening, they can't learn from it. They can only react to it. 7. Waking them up suddenly. Your dog is asleep, curled up, breathing slowly, completely at peace. It's one of the few moments in the day where they're fully relaxed. No tension, no alertness, no need to watch what's happening around them. And honestly, they look adorable. So you reach out, maybe to pet them, maybe to pick them up, maybe just to be close. But the moment your hand touches them, everything changes. They wake up suddenly, disoriented, confused. For a split second, they don't fully understand where they are or what just happened. Because when a dog is asleep, they're at their most vulnerable. Their guard is down, their awareness is low. So when they're startled awake, their brain doesn't go straight to recognition. It goes to instinct. And instinct reacts fast. Even the gentlest dog can respond defensively in that moment. Not because they're aggressive, not because they don't trust you, but because their body is trying to protect them before their mind catches up. That reaction might last only a second, but it matters, because it changes how safe that moment feels. And if it happens often, your dog may start to feel less secure even in rest, less able to fully relax, less confident that their space will stay undisturbed. Sometimes the most respectful thing you can do is let them wake up on their own. Because trust isn't just built when they're awake. It's built in the moments when they feel safe enough to sleep. 8. Forcing them to socialize. Your dog notices someone new. Maybe it's a guest in your home. Maybe it's a stranger on the street. At first, the reaction is subtle. They hesitate. Their body tightens slightly. They hang back instead of moving forward. It's easy to overlook. And naturally, you want to help. You want them to be friendly, confident, comfortable around people. So you encourage them. You call them over. You guide them closer. Maybe you gently pull on the leash. From your perspective, you're helping them get used to it. But from your dog's perspective, something very different is happening. They're not building confidence. They're losing control. Because when a dog feels unsure, what they need most is space. Space to observe, space to process, space to decide for themselves. But when that space disappears, so does their sense of safety. Now they're no longer choosing to approach, they're being pushed into it. And that changes everything. Because fear doesn't go away under pressure, it gets stronger. Your dog starts to associate new people with that uncomfortable feeling, with being overwhelmed, with not being able to step back. And over time, that association becomes automatic. What could have been a calm, gradual experience turns into something stressful, something they want to avoid. Real confidence doesn't come from being forced forward. It comes from feeling safe enough to take a step on their own. Sometimes the best thing you can do is nothing at all. Just give them the space to choose when they're ready. 9. Using the crate as punishment. A crate is supposed to feel like a safe place, a quiet space your dog can go to when they need to rest, when they need to feel secure, like their own little corner of the world, somewhere predictable, somewhere calm. But that meaning can change faster than most people realize. All it takes is a few moments of frustration. You're busy, you're overwhelmed, your dog keeps bothering you. Maybe they're nudging you to play. Maybe they just want your attention. And without thinking, you tell them to go to their crate. Not calmly, not as part of a routine, but with tension in your voice. And your dog notices. They don't understand the situation the way you do. They don't think, I did something wrong. They feel what you feel, the frustration, the sharp tone, the sudden shift in energy. And they connect that feeling to where they're being sent. So now, the crate isn't just a resting place anymore. It carries a different meaning, a heavier one. Over time, that feeling builds. Each experience adds to it, until one day you ask them to go in, and they hesitate. They slow down. They pause at the entrance. They're unsure, not because they're being stubborn, but because the space doesn't feel the same anymore. It's no longer just a place to relax, it's a place tied to something negative. And dogs remember how places make them feel, long after the moment has passed.
10. Pushing away their affection. Your dog runs toward you. The moment you walk through the door, they're already there. Tail wagging, body loose, energy full of excitement. It's not just a greeting, it's connection. In that moment, your dog is completely open, completely present, and choosing you. But real life doesn't always slow down for that. You're on a call, your hands are full, you're in a rush, so you push them down. Not now. It seems small, just a quick moment, but to your dog, it means more than you think. Because dogs learn through repetition. They learn by watching how you respond to what they do. At first, nothing changes. They come back the next time with the same excitement, the same energy, the same intention. But if that response keeps repeating, something begins to shift. They hesitate before approaching. They slow down. They check your reaction first. And eventually, they stop trying as often. Not because they don't love you, but because they've learned something new. That connection isn't always welcome. That their excitement might not be received the way they expect. And over time, that changes how they show up. Less expressive, less eager, less connected. What feels like independence can actually be distance. Because when a dog learns that their affection gets pushed away, they don't stop loving you. They just stop showing it the same way. Your dog may not remember every moment, but they will always remember patterns. Patterns of safety, patterns of stress, patterns of connection. And the most important part is this: all of these patterns can be changed. Not with perfection, but with awareness. Because once you understand how your dog experiences the world, everything starts to shift. And that tail wag at the door, it becomes more than excitement. It becomes trust.